Start to the week. You're watching Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and we are absolutely delighted to have you with us this Tuesday, the 5th of August, 2025. I am Oluwayemi Adela.
And I am Samson Balogun. Welcome to a brand new day, fresh possibilities, fresh conversations, and of course, your daily dose of insight, headlines, and trending stories. We hope your weekend was restful because the week ahead is packed, and so is today, of course, on this show, Daybreak Live.
Definitely. Let's kick things off with a quick look at the weather across Nigeria. Here in Ibadan, we are waking up to a partly cloudy morning with a chance of brief showers in the late afternoon, highs of 28 degrees Celsius and lows around 21 degrees Celsius across the southwest. Expect similar patterns, scattered clouds with occasional sun and light rainfall here and there.
All right, we'll go on a short break. Of course, the show has just started, but of course, we'll go on a short break. When we return, Daybreak Live continues on this dial. Stay with us.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your
All right, we welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us this morning on Daybreak Live on Dominion Television.
All right, the show is still Daybreak Live right here, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. The show is still Daybreak Live. You can join us by linking up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Of course, still talking about weather this morning. Over in the north, it's a different story. The temperature is expected to climb higher, with Maiduguri and Sokoto reaching the mid-30s, mostly dry and hazy, with hazy sunshine in some parts. Meanwhile, Abuja and the central regions will enjoy milder conditions. Some cloud cover, but largely dry throughout the day.
Definitely. Now, let's ease into today's flow. Coming up first, we bring you Daybreak News, everything you need to know as you start your day. National updates, global beats, and those quick but important headlines that set the tone for your day.
All right, after that, we'll turn the pages with our newspaper analysis and, of course, headlines, where we spotlight what's making the front pages, the stories shaping public opinion and political conversations. Expect the usual blend of sharp insight and straight talk.
But our big story today takes us deep into the heart of northern Nigeria, where political currents, ethnic narratives, and regional power dynamics have once again sparked debate. The conversation, northern Nigeria and power tussles, marginalization or misconception, a bold one and definitely overdue.
All right, joining us in the studio for that is Dr. Kunle Okunola, a well-respected security expert and public affairs analyst. He will be helping us unpack the layers. What's history, what's perception, and what's political strategy? Is the North really marginalized, or are we misreading the script?
It promises to be an honest, eye-opening chat. No spin, no sugarcoating, just the kind of meaningful dialogue Daybreak Live is known for.
All right, and just when you think we are done, we are not. After that, we move into Trend Watch, your daily lens on Nigeria's buzzing current affairs, what people are talking about online, around dinner tables, in boardrooms, and on the street. You don't want to miss that one.
So settle in with your coffee or your morning routine and let's take this ride together. This is Daybreak Live and we're just getting started.
All right, good morning to you.
Good morning, Samson.
Good to have you in the studio again.
Of course, same here.
It's going to be really interesting today because we've got a lot to unpack.
Definitely.
And talking about a lot to unpack, let's talk about the indiscriminate dumping of refuse on waterways, and of course, these are things that people don't get to talk about as expected. But of course, I think the Oyo State government is swinging into action right now, you know, making the bold moves that some people have failed to make in the last, in the past few years. And that is, if you get to do this and you are caught, then expect the full, punishment from the law.
I think it's a good one, I mean, from the Oyo State, because looking at the fact that I think Oyo State has about 54%, cases of open defecation. I mean, and that's very high. And then looking at Nigeria as a whole, I think around last year we were competing with India that has about 1.47 billion people when it comes to open defecation, countries that has, most cases. Nigeria was at the top last year. We took the beating from India last year. So I just hope things can get better. So if Oyo State is coming out to do this, I think, I mean, when people are being, held accountable for these activities. And then some people complain of the fact that they don't even have money to feed properly. So where do they expect them to get money to build proper toilets? So this is where the government, not just maybe the federal now, I mean the local government, I mean the state government, this is where they should come in, to say, okay, let's look for these particular areas. These people are suffering. They don't have public toilets. Let's build this. And then they should put in some bodies that can regulate the place. Because we know sometimes we've seen cases where even the local government, the state government, they were able to put in, I mean, good, proper toilet. But then people, I don't know, at the end of the day, after a few years, it's nothing to write home about. So I think apart from the fact that the government should actually cater, for, I mean, building this new public toilets, they should also put in some persons or maybe systems that can monitor so that, I mean, they can have, I mean, a good thing.
Well, talking about government provisions, I think, well, it is necessary. These are basic things the government should provide. But then, as long as you have enough to build a house, you should have enough to build a restroom. and it is very important.
No, I'm talking about
appalling.
those people, I mean, in the ghetto area.
Yeah, it's appalling to know that in some places, even in, urban centers, places, new sites to be precise, some people are building houses, neglecting the fact that they also need restrooms. So they get to, do what we'll call short put, like people will put it on the street. But it's not normal. This is not the new normal. And if you want to have the Nigeria of our dreams in terms of environmental cleanliness, I think these are things we should begin to look at. For every structure, there must be a restroom. If you have enough to build a house, you have to know enough to build a room. Before you start living in that place, please get yourself a restroom, at least build one. And of course, in public spaces, the government should also intervene by building, public restrooms where people can actually go into. But then not just build them, just like you said. Yeah. There should be a process. There should be something that monitors, some people that monitors and see that, okay, these places are well used. And of course, proper maintenance will be done. Definitely. Now, let me take you to this. In March 2025 alone, 32 individuals were prosecuted for dumping sachet water, refuse, and other waste in unauthorized locations, medians, drains, roadsides, violating Section 74A and 97 of the Environmental Sanitation and Waste Control Regulations of 2013. Now, the Oyo State government has said, look, this has to end. And one of the things that baffles me so much is that as big as Oyo State is, it was at a point, reckoned with to be, one of the dirtiest states you find. I mean, the dirtiest city, they said that was Ibadan. But then the narrative has changed anyway. Definitely. And of course, things are beginning to go the right way. But I feel the government can do so much to make sure that the Ministry of Environment, they are up and doing. It's not just about having the ministry, it's about performance. So whoever is going to be in charge should know exactly what to do. See, it's one thing to import policies on how to manage waste. It's another thing to make it fit the setting you are putting into. So Oyo State is it's a peculiar case, and then whoever is coming on board should know that, okay, I'm coming to a certain environment where things don't work like it works in other places, and of course we can find a way to make sure that we work it out, and of course the people can also be able to understand that they are doing this because we want the Oyo State of our dreams.
I think you're very right. And also, a lot of people think that it is just the uneducated people who do this. I mean, we've seen educated people who also do this as well.
Who have cars.
Exactly.
They are driving, and after drinking bottled
especially
water,
when they are traveling,
throw it out there.
They find a place, I mean, in the bush, and they do their thing. And they forget the fact that it will affect, I mean, people living in that environment when rain falls. I don't want to talk about that because issues like this cause diarrhea for people. And then a lot of persons, find it difficult to treat, I mean, properly. So I think just like we have,
especially for people who don't have access to basic health,
exactly. So just like we have established, I mean, people should make sure that once you build a house, ensure that you build a proper toilet. If you don't have the capacity to build a proper toilet, also ensure that, I mean, maybe you write to your local government chairman or just find something, because I mean, these people are ready. Just like if the Oyo State is coming out to say we are going to find people, I think that will help us, reduce these issues, because a lot of persons feel
DILTEM is involved. DILTEM is involved.
There was a time that Diga was declared, I mean, open defecation free. Oyo State can also achieve that, regardless of the fact that we have about 54% of cases. 54. I mean, that's too high. We cannot be competing with India. Nigeria as a whole. India is is more large compared to Nigeria, so it's a good one, and I just hope that the government will follow through. So when people are caught, I mean, the answer to the law.
It's interesting to make good policies, but of course implementation is much more important.
Definitely.
That takes us away from this segment of the show this morning. We say thank you for being a part of the show so far. Link up with us on all social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast. On X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. And of course, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and be a part of the show. Drop your comment there. We'll surely take them before the show runs out. All right, we'll step aside a little bit. We'll head straight to our news desk. And when we return, Daybreak Live continues on this style.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. because it's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Good morning, this is the break news on Dominion Television. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun. The West African Examinations Council (WAEC) has officially released the result of the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination (WASEC) for schools candidates. The West African Examinations Council disclosed this in a statement shared via its official X handle, informing candidates who sat for the exams that the results have officially been released. Candidates are encouraged to visit the Council's result portal to view their scores. The Nigeria Forest Security Service (NFSS) has said it has trained more than 24,000 new officers nationwide as part of its ongoing effort to strengthen forest security. The Commander General of NFSS, Dr. Joshua Osatime, disclosed this in Abuja during the closing of a 5-day National Capacity Building Workshop held simultaneously across 6 geopolitical zones of the country. He explained that exercise focused on refresher courses, inter-agency collaboration, and intelligence gathering, particularly in forested regions prone to criminal activities. Osatime said that the men have been screened by the Police Department of State Service, DSS, and traditional institutions before undergoing compulsory refresher courses conducted by various security agencies. Former Governor of Oyo State, Rashidi Ladoja, has been nominated as the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan. Ladoja was nominated by the Olubadan in council during a meeting at the Olubadan Palace in Okiaremo, Ibadan North local government area of Oyo State. The meeting was presided over by the Balogun Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Tajuddin Ajibola. Oba Ajibola further stated that the council has forwarded the resolutions of the meeting to Governor Seyi Makinde and will pick a date to present a staff of office to the new Olubadan. Group of aspirants under All Progressives Congress APC in Oyo State, Ibadan North Federal Constituency, has alleged Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu for the imposition of Adewale Olataji Murphy as the party's flag bearer of the party without proper primary election, calling for immediate intervention from the national leadership of the party to avert crisis and uphold internal democracy. The call was made by a group of aspirants aspiring for the Ibadan North Federal Constituency by-election, led by Honorable Said Aderomu, asserting that no primary election was conducted. Described the move as a violation of the APC Constitution and the Electoral Act. They further issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the national leadership of the APC to address the matter and restore due process. Recall that the Ibadan North Federal Constituency by-election follows a vacancy created earlier this year by the late Honorable Olaide Akeremi. The Oyo State Environmental, Mobile and Tribunal Court has convicted 13 individuals for operating unlicensed diesel sales businesses in the toll gate access in Ibadan, the state capital, without permit from relevant regulatory authorities. The presiding judge, Adio Jibril, announced this during the proceeding held at the premises of the State Road Traffic Management Authority in Ibadan, the state capital. Jibril said each defendant was fined 200,000 naira or faces a 5-year prison term for engaging in hazardous waste-generating activities in violation of the state's environmental laws. In business, the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy has denied reports alleging that Minister Adegboyega Oyetola awarded a multi-billion naira contract for the Barrow Inland Port project, insisting the claims are entirely false and misleading. In a statement issued, the Minister's Special Advisor on Media and Communications, Dr. Bolaji Akinola, emphasized that no such contract was awarded under the current administration. Akinola clarified further that while the project remains of national interest, the current administration has not initiated any new contract related to Barrow Port. In sports, Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has approved 5 million naira reward for each player and the technical crew of Kwara United Football Club for winning the 2025 President Federation Cup. The Harmony Boys defeated Abakaliki FC 4-3 on penalties in the final of the competition in June. It is the first time Kwara United will be winning the oldest football competition in Nigeria. The Ilorin club will feature in the CAF Confederation Cup next season as part of the reward for winning the President Federation Cup. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That's the breaking news. I am Oluwayemi Adela saying thank you for watching and good morning.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. This is still Daybreak Live, and of course, this segment we look at the major stories across the dailies. And this morning we have quite a number of headlines. However, I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Sheung Oluwole, who is a public affairs analyst, and is going to help me make sense of some of the top stories that we have this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome on board.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start from the Nigerian Tribune, and I have this headline as the banner headline that says crisis in PDP over for now. That's coming from Wiki, and that headline asks these writers, restated support for Tinubu, says its predecessor revoked Uni Abuja land. Disregard Wiki's comments on party's affairs. PDP professionals urge members insist decision on South-South, South-East Congress's stand. A lot has been going on within the PDP, and then just recently some persons left the party, the likes of Wiki and a whole lot of others that are very popular. Dele Momodu as well also left the party, and of course Wiki, even before they left, said these people need to leave. He called them buccaneers in his word. Let me borrow that from Wiki. And of course, he's now saying the crisis is over in the PDP. And a lot of Nigerians don't seem to believe this because we still have factions within the PDP. You know, some persons who support Wiki, obviously, and some other persons, I mean, wouldn't like the fact that the likes of Atiku are to leave the party because of some things that are going on within the party. Do you really think, you know, the crisis is over within the PDP? Sure.
Well, good morning once again.
Good morning.
If you're talking about the PDP crisis, which has grown deeper or grown deep over the years, I think right about now, the remaining members of the PDP can now say, okay, we are now getting nearer to Uhuru. But like Wiki said, that the crisis in PDP are now getting to a minimal stage, that it is getting over.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a look at the intents of some party members like Atiku, there are some things that some of them behave as if their own personal interest supersedes the interest of the party. So when that comes into play, then the party will go into shambles. Now, for Atiku now to have, a lot of people have pulled out. It seems that normally they don't actually have a similar ideology,
Okay.
or a synergy in that area that goes along with it. So pulling out of a party like we can call them, some of them are like buccaneers. They've been behaving like buccaneers. They tend to jump ship at the slightest hint of whatever that is that has come their way. So most of them have jump shipped. So what actually matters is that if these people could actually leave and the remaining PDP members could actually now come to order, they can still get it right. PDP is not yet a party that is dead yet. It's not dead. But there are interests of some party members that tends to supersede. They tend to supersede the ideologies of the party. And when that doesn't come into play, they tend to leave. We can now see what has been happening in the party. So, like Wiki said, internal crisis, it will come and go. Every party does have one. It will always have one. But the PDP crisis, it will go. It will go.
He's saying there is no crisis again, but then it doesn't appear like that. I mean, you said something that I'd love to talk about just before you continue. You said, you know, the likes of Atiku, they are more of, I mean, my own interest rather than the party's interest.
That is it.
But what do you make of the fact that they have accused Wiki of anti-party activities? I mean, he's working for the APC and still a member of the PDP. And then they have said that there are some underground things that he does, I mean, that is affecting the party. Though he comes out, I mean, openly to say, I'm still a member of the PDP.
Let us take a look at it this way. Wiki is still in PDP. Of course, a ministerial post under the APC.
Yes.
You serving your country under a particular party, under another party, doesn't mean you are doing anti-party. When you are doing anti-party is when you don't actually have the interest of the party at heart. Wiki is still telling you, I'm PDP, and this PDP must still live on. But my duties, my role duties, my core duties as a minister of a particular parastatal, this is what I must do. This is what I've been called to do. That's what Wiki is doing. That's what he has been doing. So there's not what's anti-party in what he's doing.
He worked against PDP in 2023.
I
mean, he said it openly that he's not, or let me say, he does not like the fact that, I mean, Atiku had to contest in 2023. because he feels like he should be zoned to the south. And he said he worked against, you know, PDP in
when
2023.
there is already a laid down pattern for you to follow, and some people truncated it, then you will go and if you feel hurt by that,
Okay.
you should talk out. You will say your mind. This is our laid down rules and regulations. This is what we need to follow concerning the last election, and which has been truncated by some people who actually have their own interest in mind. So what do you expect him to do?
So working against the party, is that not anti-party?
I have not seen him working against the party in any way. He has not actually said that, okay, I am endorsing a particular member against the party.
He also did,
But he said,
the writer is saying,
he said,
okay,
in this party, this is where we should zone whatever it is to. And some people are telling you, no. And he is telling them, this is what has been laid down. Why don't we follow that? Why can't we follow that in the first place? Why don't the party follow that in the first place? Now, he's not coming out to say that, okay, now this is what we need to do. This is what, if you people are not doing the right thing. Is that now anti-party?
okay, we have a writer here that is saying restate his support for Tinubu. So if Wike is restating his support for Tinubu, and obviously PDP will come up with a candidate for the 2027 election, what do you make of that? It's like one leg in, one leg out.
According to what I see here, it is playing out. The party itself, they are not ready to actually put their guts together. Maybe if they can do what Wike wants or what the party really needs to do, maybe he can restate his, so he can now come back and say, okay, he is now pulling his weight behind his own party. But as at now, strictly between me and you, my own opinion, I have not seen any better candidate right about now, even in the coalition or whatever. Because we still have the same people jumping out of one different ship to another, forming the coalition. And what is their main interest?
I mean, there are talks that Peter Obi might go back to the Labour Party to become the flag bearer.
Now, who is actually doing anti-party?
I mean, if he should leave the party openly and declare that, you know, publicly, do you see that as anti-party? Rather than Wike, who stays in his party but still works for the opposition.
He is not working for the opposition. As long as he stays in the party.
Okay.
What makes you leave the party in the first place? Because of your own interest that has not come to being. The likes of Atiku and Obi, you fire on every one of them. Mind you, have you ever heard in history that Asiwaju Tinubu left a particular party for another?
I mean, politicians will have, I mean, different ways by which they play their politics. Don't you see that way?
That is ideology working out. Some have, some don't. When the ideologies of some are like this, the one we call Amala politics in Ibadan. When you see the Amala today, you stay. When you don't see it, you go. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Take a look at the trend of all other world leaders. Do they jump ship like we are doing? Trump has never left the Republican for another party. Has Putin ever left from party ever since he was a KGB officer and whatever?
But don't you think comparing Nigerian politics to American politics,
Nigerian politics,
is a bit extreme?
this is the way we know it, that it has been, it is being played out.
Definitely.
It's playing out. So it is easier for us to now to decipher the fact that, oh, this person, this person, this person, this person, this is what is going on, this is what is going on. It's easy for us to decipher. We can description, this is what is going on. Body language is tell. They talk. Now, Wike talking about, going back to Wike that is doing anti-party. No. What is actually the content of anti-party here? Who's actually doing anti-party? Doing what the state requires me to do concerning my department, concerning my parastatal. Is that anti-party? I'm working for the country. Who among them is actually working for the country and working against the country?
Actually, I mean, you are seeing it from a different perspective. I mean, but members of the PDP,
point of view.
exactly, who have left, and even some who are still, you know, members of the PDP, have accused Wike of, doing anti-party activities, of involving anti-party.
What do they think, or what do they know that is being anti-party, or what can they tell us about Wike's activities that has actually caused the party to? Who actually caused it? Don't tell me that only one man can bring to an halt a reign of 16 years of a particular party.
I mean, someone spoke on this program, and then I asked him about what is going on with the PDP, and he said something very cogent. He said, Wike is PDP, PDP is Wike. He's a member of the PDP.
He's still there, and he's still there.
Yeah.
Now, okay, what about Atiku? Do we call him a chieftain, or what now do we call him?
You tell me.
No, I don't see him as a chieftain anymore.
Okay.
Because
he's left the party.
A captain will go down with the ship. A captain will always go down with the ship. You don't jump ship. Just like the Buccaneers that he has called them. Even a very grounded pirate will go down with his own ship. Now he's talking about, he's calling them Buccaneers. They are jumping ship. A captain will go down with his own ship. That is Wike for you. Wike is PDP, PDP is Wike. I still remain PDP. But I will do my duties as a statesman with my parastatal. That's what he's doing. That's not anti-party. That's not anti-party. That's a statesman for you. You now saying, they're not saying Wike is destroying PDP or Wike is doing anti-party. Who actually is doing anti-party? They are not serving in any form, in any regards.
Okay.
They just want to come into power, to seize power, to do whatever they want to do. But have we actually seen them do something cogent? Apart from being former governors, being former this, what are their antecedents and their precedents? What have they set down? That we can actually say, oh, these people have actually done right in their own capacity. To them now, for them now to now utter such a statement that somebody is doing anti-party. Whatever it is that they are that they have held in the, let us now hold them into accountability. What have they done?
Okay, I think I get it. You don't seem to look at this issue from the fact that Wike is involved in anti-party activities.
He is not.
However,
he's actually doing what he needs to do for the country.
Okay.
But talking about his own party,
okay,
he's still there.
Okay.
He is still feeling the brunt.
okay,
Others are leaving
because
they couldn't bear the heat of the kitchen.
all right, okay.
But he's still there.
Okay, let's take a short break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, I'll welcome you back. This is still Headlines Analysis, and of course, another analyst has joined the show this morning. I'm talking about Temitope Ishola, a public affairs analyst. Welcome on board.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And before you joined us, I mean, myself and Sean, we were trying to slug it out because this headline on Nigeria Tribune that says crisis and PDP over for now. That's coming from Wike. And of course, members of the PDP have accused Wike of involving himself in anti-party activities. You are a member of the PDP, but you're still working for the APC. But he said he doesn't see any form of anti-party activities. I mean, from Wike. He said he's just, trying to serve the country, working as a minister and still trying to manage the PDP. What do you make of that?
I think it depends on the context. We all keep looking at it.
Okay.
It's very easy to say that Wike worked for the government. So I believe we should not even look at it from the context of the fact that he's serving in this government. I think we should look more on how, as a sitting governor, his party lost the state to the ruling party. And not just only that, it was clearly indicated that he did everything he could to ensure that the party lost the election in his state. So those that were aware with the elections that were involved knows that a certain Peter Obi, for instance, supposedly won the election. But surprisingly, if at all he was even going to do anything to emphasize maybe certain results, he did it for the APC, not even the PDP. simply because he lost the election and simply because he lost the primaries
Okay.
to Atiku. So I think that's where all of this started, basically. But I think Wike has shown that he's bigger than the party. It's definitely bigger than the party. Wike is synonymous with PDP as it stands, so he can do as he wishes, and that's what he's basically doing. I think I saw the interview yesterday. I watched the interview yesterday, and I saw the manner with which he was responding to those questions and the likes, and you could tell of someone that sees himself in control, basically. I think Wike has not done enough because it will come back to hurt him. And there are very clear examples of that. People like Atiku and the likes have done what he has done. They've never done it as brazenly as he has done is, whereby you work for another party, you try and destabilize your own party, and you think you'll benefit of it. It's not going to work for him. So I'm looking at a scenario whereby if PDP is really serious, then they shouldn't allow Wike to be the spokesman of the party. They are institutions, they are an institution that has constitutions that guide their actions. It's very clear. If you find that someone has done anti-party, you take him out of the party. But what we see today is that PDP shifting just make pronouncements on social media. But when they go back to their meetings, their committee meetings, their disciplinary committees, there's nothing that comes out of it. Basically, I can say virtually all of them on the neck of the PDP are Wike's boys. So nothing will come out of it, and this is how they will continue to do. As far as I'm concerned, PDP has been captured at the national level. They're just a parastatal or a ministry of the APC. They're just an extension. They get their communication of when to hold meetings or not from Aso Rock at this point in time. So perhaps maybe when this administration is done with PDP, we have the time to come back to discuss. But I think at the lower levels, there's still a sense of autonomy and control for respective states. But at the federal level, I don't think PDP is it, and Wike is the crisis. So the crisis is not over. Wike himself is the crisis.
Wike is the crisis.
Is the crisis.
Okay, let me turn to Shewolwole again. So now that Wike has come out to say, okay, I'm still going to support Tinubu, would you think he's going to support? Should PDP come up with a candidate for 2027 election? Let's just assume maybe Peter Obi returns back to PDP and then it's the flag bearer. Don't you still think that it will still work? I mean, for the APC or for Tinubu, rather than work for the candidate of the PDP?
To me, as long as there are still some cracks in the PDP, Wike will still go back and will still come out and tell you he is still supporting his boss right about now, who is Tinubu. He will always come out and do that. Because, like he has said, PDP, they are not serious right about now. They are clearly not serious right about now. The party is in shambles, I said it before.
Yeah.
It's in shambles. So, most of the chieftains, the key players are not there anymore. They are not there anymore. So, Wike will now take a look at who can actually pull the weights and pull the strings. And he would rather put his money where his money, where his mouth, where his money is, or his mouth, something like that. He would rather back
You would
the
what is in his
person. He
hand.
would just, yes, he will play out his card and this is it. Because I don't see you people coming together to pull any magic out of anything now, right about now. There's no rabbit out of a hat or something that you are going to do now at this point in time. Even if Obi should come back.
The people that would support him,
That will support.
Okay.
They are not
quiet.
there.
They are not there.
They are not there.
There's
So,
no Obasanjo. There's no Abdulsalam. There's no Lamido.
They are not there.
Strong men that can.
You don't see Obi going
enforce.
back to
No,
the
it's suicide. It's suicide. It's better off he stays in the Labour Party.
In the Labour Party,
and
rather than
figure-
going back to
and
PDP.
figure out that leadership.
He should just stay in Labour.
only-
What about the ADC?
Not
He
yet.
is not in the ADC.
Not yet.
He's not in the ADC.
The only reason
Because
why he should go to
his
the ADC
own interest is not playing out in the ADC.
Unless the ADC themselves invite him and say, okay, this is
Okay.
what we are giving you.
Give it to you.
He can't go there and say he
Now,
wants to vie for
the major
primaries.
parties, the major players in the APA, in the ADC, who are they now
They are the
flagging?
disgruntled guys of
Who are they flagging?
PDP that...
I think, don't let us assume who is going to be the flag bearer of that
No,
party.
there's-
No,
the writings are on the wall.
it's on the wall
Okay.
already.
So,
we don't.
when you
know who that
observe
is.
the political
So,
system, you would see some moves being made that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, this is the end game of this action.
that is it.
As it speaks, the individuals that have infiltrated the ADC at the very beginning are the Atiku boys. So it's only clear, even if you look at some of the pronouncement appointments that were made recently,
of course.
of
Okay.
the youth positions in the ADC, they are basically people that we presume are affiliated
to
to
Atiku.
Atiku.
All right.
Senator David Mark,
David Mark.
Atiku.
Okay.
So, dude,
Imagine
and
David Mark
conversation.
saying, if you do anti-party in ADC, we'll
But then this is politics. I mean, I understand where you both are coming from, but then this is politics, and then surprises are allowed.
Oh, definitely.
So
definitely.
I just hope that you both will not get surprised. I mean, before 2027
No,
elections.
there's no
in terms
surprises.
of-
No,
Okay.
I don't see any surprises coming up.
The political terrain has not given
don't get
us.
surprised.
The political terrain has not given us. Okay, let's say the players in the space. We've not really seen anyone that we can say has something that others don't have that you can bring out of the box to surprise us.
Okay.
You can easily predict every one of them that are current
So no
players
surprises.
in the game.
No surprises.
All right.
Obi goes back to PDP, it's not going to be a surprise. If he stays in Labour Party, it's not going to be a
not-
surprise.
it's
If he
not
goes to ADC, it's not going to be a surprise. If Wike works for Tinubu, it won't be a surprise. If he says he wants to run on PDP, it's also not going to be a
Everything
surprise.
is playing out already.
So things are playing out. The only thing is that we may not just know what will be the final results, but we have an
Okay.
idea of what is going to lead up until that point. So for instance, PDP is going to do their NEC meeting in Ibadan, I think in a month or 2 months' time.
Yes.
Presumably, the sitting governor of Oyo State is being projected as someone that in 2027
Will contest for
be
the
flag
presidential
bearer
election.
of the
course.
party. So the question is, will Wike, and also there are also indications that Wike too might want to get the ticket. But based on what I know about politics, whoever gets the PDP ticket is running like a vice president or an assistant to the APC candidate. He's not going there to win.
All right. Let's move away from PDP, from Labour Party and the EDC. Let's talk about one major issue in this country. And I have this headline that says, plots against Ojulari to undermine NNPCL reform. That's coming from CCDI. I don't know if you have seen the stories surrounding this at the GCO of NNPCL. I mean, by Ojulari. I read the story last week that he was arrested and forced to resign. Then I read a story yesterday that talks about the fact that he's back to work. What do you make of this story? It's like there's, I don't know what to call it, maybe like a game that is playing on, I mean, between the GCO and of course the Senate. The Senate have invited him, you know, times with that number. He has refused to show up, and then we heard the report that he was arrested, forced to resign. Even the presidency is here to, you know, speak on this matter. What do you make? Let me start with you.
Concerning this issue of about Ojulari, there are some bigger powers that are playing out against him in that sector, whereby I think only here in this country we actually see flags of sabotage in major,
highest level.
in major playing out, and actually we can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Whatever it is that you promise to do, that you aim to do in any good, some people will still come and say, whatever Ojulari must have done, I think there are some people out there seeking to sabotage whatever it is that he meant to do. But being arrested, okay, what actually led to that? At least there must have been a particular indictment against him.
Okay.
What that we don't know. Even the presidency is not talking about it. He has been invited. What has actually played out in how many months of his...
Because when did he come on?
When did he come on board that has led to this? What has he actually done? Can it be that bad that he immediately he came into office, everything started falling apart? So what has actually happened? Are there some major players that doesn't want this thing to work? All this issue of petroleum subsidy and everything, refineries being built and being rejuvenated, and even as of today, they are now saying some refineries are not working after all has been spent, all those stuff. What is actually playing out here that we don't know in that sector? So that Ojulari now will be the one to now bear the brunt.
Be the scapegoat.
He will be. Definitely, if they want him to be, he will be. So being arrested, he is back to work, and the presidency keeping mum about that. There are so many things fishy that we are not actually getting the bigger picture. That is, to me, we are still, but I think something, very soon we'll get some things in the offing that we'll need to talk about more about Ojulari himself. But I don't, what has actually played out in how many months? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
That has led to arrest and all this being summoned by the Senate and everything. So
I think for me,
let me frame this question this way. Do you think because of the appointment, that is being done, especially for that office, do you think it affects, the effectiveness of the person? Because we've seen cases, even in the past, people that have, led that sector. Nigerians have had issues with them, even the Senate issues with them, and of course the fact that the Senate did not appoint or will not appoint the GCU is done by the president. What do you make of the appointment, that has to do with that office?
I think it's an institutional misnomer in the sense that over time, that sector and that body have tended to portray themselves like they are bigger than the political class.
Okay.
They've tried to distinguish themselves, and I'm sure largely it's because of the sort of resources that flows through that agency, that institution itself. So we find, because prior before Ojulari, if you go back, say up until let's say the Desani years as minister, there's a lot of rot in that system, unaccounted money that was not remitted into the federal allocation accounts, resources that were mismanaged, and obviously with the kind of money they have, they could either buy people off the press, suppress stores. So a lot has been going on in that space, and that's why if you notice, successive governments have been trying to put a hold on it. Buhari, for instance, the now appointed minister, tried to become the Minister of Petroleum. Okay. Those are some of the reasons why all of those things are, okay, let me put it directly under my office purview, so let me be able to control whatever is going on there. So I think the challenge here now is that there are different players in that space, and oil money is blood money. And there are people that will do anything to ensure that they keep their control over that sector. We keep hearing about how millions of barrels are stolen, ships are... It's people at that level, that play at that level, that can afford, that have the capacity to do stuff like
21 billion naira is missing.
It's missing. And on a regular basis, this is going on. So there are people that are feeding off the rot. So if you say you're coming in, I want to... So now I don't want to hold brief for Ojulari yet. Okay. Because I don't know whether he's fighting corruption. I don't know what is, because there's that tendency in Nigeria that once someone seems to be under the fire, they tend to always want to back him and think he's saintly. But I still feel like the coming days, more clarity will be made. We'll have more clarity on the exact issues on ground. Because, for instance, for the presidency to be quiet about this means that there are interests at play here that the presidency is also trying to manage. They're basically assessing themselves. Does he have to go, even though he's our boy, so that we can hold on to this interest that is here? So I guess there's a lot at play here. But one thing I can conclude on is that definitely it's not in the best interest of the country. Whatever is being at play here is just the greed of certain individuals, whether they are government official holders or whether they are businessmen within that field. And we can only hope that in the coming days, more clarity is being made, and whoever needs to go should go.
All right, just before we go, recently he was interviewed and asked some questions around the refineries, the Port Harcourt, the Warri, whether they are going to sell it off just so that we can have peace on that matter, because a lot of money have been pumped into, making sure that they work well, but we've not seen the result. So I want to ask you, do you think those refineries should be sold off?
Well, to me, that is what I would call our last resort, our last national piece of cake. Yeah. So selling it off to who? To which country? To who? Who are those that will buy it, that will not hold us by the jugular? That is our home heartbeat. Now, selling it off to who? But clearly, we've not been able to manage it over the years. I thought when the president came in, the first year, he was saying, okay, this thing will work and everything is working like that. But what about now? We are still back to where we are from. where we started from is still not working fully, maximally yet. Now, selling it off again to who? What are we actually trying to do to ourselves? That is our, I would say that is the last straw that will break the camel's back. That is what we can hold on to now. All the power that has been sold off, what have we done with it?
So should we keep spending money on the refineries
No,
where
I
we
think
are
we
not able to
Can't we just do something? Can't it be perfected?
Our leaders
Are
make
there
things-
not a technical? Okay, instead of selling them to people who can now manage them, why don't you call in people who can now fix them so that we can manage them properly? Why sell them off?
All right, let me turn to you. Your opinion on that before we go on.
Nigerian governments make governance look like it's an hard thing to do. Governance isn't that hard like this set of people do. It's just clearly that they're incompetent, basically. Egypt has done well with their system. Small Burkina Faso over there is doing well with that. But when you come to Nigeria, they try to just make all of these things too complex. Look at the Dangote refinery. It's just one individual. But look at the caliber of individuals he pulled together to get the refinery running at the pace it is running. It's not even yet even at the optimum level.
Don't you think it's because it's private? Because when it comes to government issues,
That's the point. So that's why I'm saying that.
Why can't the government do it right?
The government
when
should
you have
also
people
give it
at
to a
your
private-
beck and call resources.
So you can. So there's
own them,
something.
you
There's
own the
something
states.
Russia did with their oil sector. They realized they can't operate it government-wise, so they kind of privatized it, which is what Buhari tried to do with NNPC eventually.
Okay.
Made it a privatized company, but put people that are capable in it. So the government or the state can have like a certain percent in it, but you allow them to run it. So if you leave it in the hands of private entities, it will definitely. So my own proposal would be that the government should have a stake in it. So they should register it or have it as a company like, but we'd say, okay, you know what, we don't want to run this thing. We are leaving this in your care, but we have a stake in this as a government or as a country full time, whether it's 50-50, but we'll leave every other thing to you to run. So these guys are the ones that will run it. Government support them with putting up policies and regulations that make their work easier. Why they are the ones that handle the aspect where it runs and operates on a day-to-day basis. And both parties are happy and will get money off. So that if they want to wake up one day to say they are increasing the cost of fuel, government policies and regulations helps to control that. So that way, the country can move on. Same thing should apply to the electrical power sector, manufacturing sector. Like there's a lot of things. But yeah, we see that government. We just want to do the abridged version of socialism where everybody just keep pontificating about socialism and the likes, want to help the poor, want to help the this. But we basically have capitalists in government, but that has lack of understanding about how to do. All they just have is to take, because that's what is happening here. Everything that is in place is just people just dipping their hands into the coffers, not really actually putting things in place that allows us to be able to generate more and put more back there. Every year, you just keep seeing that money reducing in the country because of the set of individuals that are managing. So for the oil sector, for the power sector, refineries, as the case may be, government should hands off from it and leave it in the hands of the private sector and give them room, breathing space to be able to at least run these things properly.
Not sell outright.
Not sell outright.
Okay, I do hope that that can be, maybe utilized, just like you guys have been able to, provide good solutions, to this rather than selling off, the refineries. But I just hope maybe the president or people who are in charge of this can probably watch this through and maybe listen to you guys, speak on the matter, because a lot of Nigerians are actually tired of the refineries, and then a lot of them are saying, why can't we just sell off these refineries, but then they are still worried about the fact that should we sell off the refineries, where would the money go to? What are we going to do with the money? Who are we selling to? Of course, I think it's a good place to leave it this morning. Thank you so much for being on the program. Ashe Oluwole, a public affairs journalist, and of course, Temitope Ishola, a researcher and historian. Thank you for being a part of the show. We do hope that this conversation will continue. Whether the refineries, will be sold or not, we'll get to know before the end of this administration, I guess.
Definitely.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show this morning. Please stay with us. Big story will come up soon. My name is Oluwayemi Adela. I'm saying good morning.
Ever dreamed of creating the next viral series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class, it's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV, make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Nigeria's most pressing political and socio-economic conversations. I'm your host, Samson Balogun, and today we turn the spotlight on a topic that continues to ignite debate across the country: Northern Nigerian power tussles, marginalization, or misconception. Joining us to break this down is a seasoned public affairs analyst and a political strategist, Dr. Kunle Okunla. He brings a wealth of experience in governance, analysis, and national integration issues. Now, for decades, Northern Nigeria has played a dominant role in the country's political history, producing multiple heads of states and holding critical positions across federal institutions. Yet, in recent times, prominent northern stakeholders have raised concerns of marginalization, alleging dwindling influence in federal appointments, resource control, and security management. But how valid are these claims? Is it not truly being hedged out of power, or is this a strategic narrative shaped by shifting political tides and internal contradictions within the region itself? Could this be a case of misconception rooted more in economic discontent and insecurity than in actual political exclusion? Today, we unpack these layers with facts, context, and honest analysis. Welcome once again. The show is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and this is The Big Story. Dr. Kunle Okunla, good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Let me put it to you this morning.
Yeah.
Is the North truly being marginalized?
I don't think the assertion that the North is being marginalized is realistic. It's not true. Because when you look at the way the nation had been around since 1960, you know, I don't think it's right for Northerners to rise up and say the North is being marginalized. You know, this morning I was just looking at, you know, some statistics of the military head of states and the president that we've had, and I said, you know, these people have had a larger share when it comes to leading this country. You know, in 1966, we have General Guy Rossi, you know, from the east. Then 1966 again, General Yakubu Gowon, a northerner. Then followed by General Murtala Mohammed, a northerner. Then Muhammadu Buhari, a northerner, as the head of state, and General Ibrahim Babangida, a northerner, then Sani Abacha, a northerner, then we have General Abdusalam Abubakar, a northerner, before we have, interim government, Ernest Shoneka. And when we come to the, presidents and the prime ministers, the only prime minister we have in Nigeria is Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, 1960 to 1966, a northerner. Then we have, paper president, like he's been called, Nnamdi Azikiwe, a easterner. Then we have Shehu Shagari, 1979, a northerner. Then come in by Olusegun Obasanjo, southerner. Then followed by Umaru, Musa Yar'Adua, northerner. Goodluck came in, and
from the south.
South. We have Muhammadu Buhari, and now we have, Bola Tinubu, from the southwest. So you will see that they've had the largest share of leaders, presidents, and head of states in this country. So it's not right. I don't think it is right for the northern at this time to be saying that they are being marginalized. And President Tinubu, in fairness to him, has been very fair in all his the allocation of positions, to different regions in Nigeria. Like Ubasani, the governor of Kaduna State, was saying. He was at the meeting also. The Sir Ahmadu Bello, yearly speech, and that was held at Kaduna, and so many northerners were there. That's another issue anyway, because when Ahmadu Bello was around, he had this gross hatred for the Easterner. People will always play the video of him being interviewed by a white person when he said that the Igbos are not people to be trusted, that when it comes to allocation of positions in the north, it is northern first, not just any other region in Nigeria, and that if there is no northern that is fit, then they're going to get a foreign expatriate on a contract basis. But if they could not get that, then they can consider a south-west person on a contract basis. But it has to be northern first, because they own Nigeria. So it was his memorial lecture that was being held, and Ahmadu Bello was the grandson of Uthman Dan Fodio, the warlord that fought and took most of the Hausa land and gave it to his Fulani descendants. So one could understand where this is coming from. It was at this meeting that Professor Tijani Bande, who was the former VC of Uthman Dan Fodio University and also a permanent member, Nigerian permanent member to United Nations, rose up and said the northerners have been marginalized, and after the meeting, George Akume led the federal government delegates to the meeting, rose up and said, this is not right, this is not right. And the governor of Kaduna State came up and threw some light into it. Part of what he said was that, let's look at the allocation. He said the Minister of Defense is from the north. He said the National Security Advisor is from the north. He said the Minister of State for Defense is from the north. He said the Chief of Army Staff is from the north. Commanding Officer of the Army from the north. Head of Civil Service Defense Corps is from the north. Controller to Immigration is from the north. Minister of Agric is from the north. Minister of State for Agric is from the north. Minister, of Health, Minister of Health is from the north. So he said, what are we talking about? And he said, the northern states, are doing better now, security-wise, than when their own person, Muhammadu Buhari, was there. So there is no basis for this. Now,
before you go forward, you go further, Dr. Kunle Okola, I want to quickly break this down in terms of geopolitical zones.
Yeah.
Now, a more detailed zoning breakdown from media sources gives the following counts across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. In terms of key appointments, the Northwest has 36, the Southwest has 29, the North Central has 25, Northeast 24, South 22 appointments, while the Southeast has 16. Now, thus, this Northwest lead, the Northwest leads as region with the most appointments overall in terms of key positions. Now, talking about sectors and key roles, in terms of security leadership, as you rightly said, Northwest leads with 8 senior security appointments. Now, Southwest follows with 5 and North Central with 4. The Northeast holds 3, while the South and the Southeast each have just 1 slot in security leadership roles in this country as we speak. So, many top financial and economic posts, such as the Minister of Finance, CBN Governor, FRS Chairman, Customs, Interior, Justice, Solid Minerals, and more are heavily represented by individuals from the Southwest. That's right. All right. Now, talking about boards and parastatals, appointments to boards of agencies like NNPC saw notable entries from the North, e.g. Bashir Ojulari and Board Chairman Amadou Musa Kida, but Southwest leadership continues to dominate majorly in the MDAs. Now, if we want to go by these statistics, it means that the only region that can lay claim to be marginalized is the Southeast. Now, the North overall slightly leads with 71 appointees versus 63 from the South. And in terms of zonal influence, the Northwest has the most appointments and holds key security strategic positions. Southwest comes next. And we can say, it is safe to say that the Northwest, in the North in general, they have the most appointments, as we speak, key positions. So why didn't the claims of being marginalized?
The governor of Kaduna State, threw light into what happened. He was at the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, he voiced out. He said the reason, the North are agitating for this is because, of allocation, federal allocations. They believe that they practically brought President Tinubu into power, and he gave statistics. He said 3/4 of the voters' numbers came from the North. He said 2/3 of the population of Nigeria is from the North. He said the North gave President Tinubu 64% of the vote that brought him in, and he said 5.6 million votes out of the 8 million votes that brought President Tinubu into power came from the North. So the North should and must be, favored in everything. And he said, under this discussion that they are not emphasizing is the new policy of President Tinubu when he says that the state with the highest VAT will get higher allocation. All right. And Sani said, 19 northern states of Nigeria, they always turn out very low VAT. And they are of the opinion that if this policy is put into place, then the North are going to be changed, And he said, in a way, I saw another person from the North that was talking on this VAT, and I listened. He said, President Tinubu says that any state that has more VAT, definitely we have more money from the federal government. And he said this will not favor the North, because the 19 states of Nigeria, that are from the North, they are not, yielding high VAT. And he said this is not right, because many of these companies have their branches scattered all over Nigeria, but most of them have their headquarters in Lagos. And so you pay VAT from the headquarters office, and the VAT is paid into the headquarters state. All right? And he cited the example of Dangote. He said Dangote is from the North. He has so many of his companies scattered in the North. But where is the headquarters? Lagos. Okay? And so Dangote is going to pay the VAT of Dangote group of companies to Lagos. And so at the end of the day, Lagos will have more money than, Kano, where Dangote is from. And he said, this is not right. So that is the main thing that the North, they are agitating for, that this should not be.
It's not about positions.
It's about
the new tax regime.
The new tax regime. That is the bone of contention. But they are not just coming to say it, And Sani was saying that this should be an eye-opener, to the Northerners also. Let's develop our state. Let's rid our state of insecurity so that Northerners, can cite their company's headquarters, in Kano, in Sokoto, and some other places. All right. So that is the bone of contention.
I was about to ask you these questions.
Yes.
Why do major businesses have their headquarters in Lagos?
Why do they have their headquarters in Lagos? There are so many factors that favor Lagos.
Security is one.
Security is one.
Then whose fault is it that the North is being ravaged by insecurity as we speak?
Northerners. It's the fault of the Northerners. That was what people like the governor of Kaduna State was saying. He was saying that during the campaign, when they brought Tinubu, to Kaduna, there was a particular, it's a Bininchi or Binchi, a particular local government in Kaduna State, that it took them nothing less than 12 hours to get to that place, because there were about 15 military checkpoints on the road. And when they got to the village, it was just a handful of people. A lot of people had run away. He said you can drive, from Kaduna to that local government within 30 minutes now, because it is safe. So he's saying that it's even safer now during the tenure of President Tinubu than
it used to be when President Muhammadu Buhari was in charge.
So what is the issue? The Northern, we all know the history of Boko Haram. It wasn't caused by the South-South. It wasn't caused by the Southwest. It was caused by the Northerners themselves. All right? It's a Northerner going to these people for assistance and blah, blah, like that. So Sani is being realistic. He said all we need to do, those factors that are favoring the Southwest, the Southeast, that makes them to have higher, when it comes to industry and companies, let's look into it in the North also, and let's begin to put in place. And security is number one. Then number two is education. Number two is education. As it is now, this is the 21st century, you still have the system of Alimanjiri in the North. This man is crying that this has to stop. Many of their young boys are wasting away because they don't have education, they don't have future, all right? And it's all nomadic venture, and it's really a nomadic person has no local government. He has no state. He doesn't even have a country, because wherever he goes, that is his state or local government. And he said, how long are we going to continue to do this? So it's baseless saying that the North, is being marginalized by this administration. No, it's not right.
In juxtaposition, let's compare the former president, Muhammadu Buhari's administration, late former president's administration, with that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as we speak. Now, based on official data from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, the regional breakdown is as follows. The Southwest had 64 appointees, which is amounted to 33.7%. Yeah. The Northwest had 37 appointees, amounting to 19.5%. Yeah. Northeast, 29 appointees, that is 15.3%. Yeah. South-South, 24 appointees, 12.6%. North Central got 21 appointees, 11.1%. Now, the Southeast got the least, again, 15 appointees, 7.9%. Yeah. This means that the southern region surpassed the North overall with 103 appointees, 54.2% versus 87, which is 45.8% from the North under late President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, what this means basically is that across senior leadership positions in defense, intelligence, and security agencies, 75% were held by Northerners. Okay. With only 2 key roles going to Southerners, Chief of Defense Staff, Southwest, Chief of Naval Staff, that was from the South-South. Now, NNPC and parastatals. The NNPC and its key subsidiaries saw 24 northerners in the senior positions versus 16 southerners, with Southeast entirely excluded from NNPC leadership under late President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, 61% of appointees were from the north, compared to 39 from the south. In terms of cabinet and MDAs, in ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, the splits leaned marginally in favor of the south, about 51% north and versus 49 from the south overall. Though North Central briefly led early appointments in 2015 to 2018 before the tides changed. So basically, when you talk about Muhammadu Buhari's administration, the Southwest had more appointments. Meaning he favored the Southwest more. But key positions, defense, NNPC, they went to the north. But they are still complaining of being marginalized. Now, let's go to the basis of, the topic itself. If we continue to have it this way, that each region will come out and say we are being marginalized because our person is not in power. Are some people more entitled to the country called Nigeria than others?
You know, as long as we continue to play regional politics, we will continue to have this problem.
What role will going back to regional system of government play in all of this?
If we go back to regional system of government, then, you know, all these, the central is favoring my region, will not come up again. It is now left for each region, you know, to develop their own state. All right, like somebody said, you know, during the regional system, you know, what were the northern and, you know, looking at when people like Obafemi Awolowo are developing the Southwest? What were they looking at then? You know, so I think, number one, you know, the Constitution of Nigeria should be reviewed. Then number two, we need to go back to the regional system of government. We really need it. And that is when we have the regional or the state police and things like that. That's when Nigeria, you know, could move forward. I mean, imagine we have 6 regions. A particular region gathered and they have a seminar, and the topic of the seminar is assessing of the midterm tenure of the president, how it favors the north. You know, that's the topic of the seminar, assessing the midterm tenure of the president of Nigeria, how it favors the north. So they are not even having into consideration other regions. Then two, who gave them the right to assess the president alone from that region? You know, and it's all because they feel that without
they're entitled more.
They're entitled to more because, like the statistics I gave, without them, you know, there is nobody that could emerge as a president in Nigeria, and it's a fact. How many states do you have in the Southwest? 6. In the Southeast, about 5. South, the same. How many do they have in the North? 19. So there is no president. There is nobody that will emerge as president if you don't play, you know, to the tune
in terms of state allocation, who is being marginalized now?
Yes.
In terms of state allocation, they have 19.
They have 19.
The South has
they have no basis. They have no basis. One of the people that spoke was at the meeting was interviewed, and he said, "Give us in which area that you are being marginalized." In terms of allocation, we could see that, I mean, political allocation, you are not being marginalized. In terms of federal allocation to states, you have more because you have 19 states. In which area? He said because the president is not communicating more enough to the northerners. And he said in what way? He has spokesperson, you know, media advisors. They are talking. He said the president should visit the north more, like, you know, his predecessors was doing. After all, he said, I'm stepping into the shoe of my predecessor when he came in. And it's all you know, like somebody trying to play with words, you know, because he doesn't visit the north often does not mean that they are marginalizing the north.
Now, with the regions facing serious security challenges, do you think governance and government failures is being mistaken for political marginalization?
I think so.
What they call marginalization, is it the failure of the leaders from the north?
I think so. I sincerely think so. Because when I listened to the interview of the governor of Kaduna State, I felt that these people should, take their leaders into consideration more rather than attacking the president, the federal government. What are their leaders doing? What are they doing, especially in terms of security? There is nobody that will want to cite the headquarters of his company, for instance, in Borno State, with all these Boko Haram attacks here and there. What are they doing? And we have from testimonies of people from the north, the military, the police, and they have ascertained that the sponsors of these terrorist groups, they're actually from the north. So what are you talking about? So they should settle their home. What they should do, in fact, the topic of that meeting should be how we can move the north forward, and they look at some of the things that are affecting them, and they look at the way they can improve on structure rather than assessing the second tenure term of the
Is it safe to say that the Northerners are pushing this narrative as a political strategy ahead of 2027?
I think it is so. This came immediately after so many regions are rising from their meeting and giving their vote of confidence to the president for his second term bid. And then we have this. It's a political issue. Is a political issue. Sonny was saying at that meeting, I'm referring to him because it was realistic and idealistic. In government, we need more of metrocracy. All right. When in metrocracy they said it doesn't matter whether a cat is white or a cat is black, as long as the cat catches rat, is a good cat. And that's what moved Singapore, forward from a third world country in the 60s and part of 70s, now one of the foremost nations of the world, meritocracy. It's high time we began to look into the credibility, the performance of individuals. I think it was Obasanjo that did that in his first tenure, when he brought some technocrats, people like Okonjo-Iweala, people like brought them, all right, and President Tinubu did it in Lagos State. When he was the governor, he brought people from other states. Aregbesola from Osun State, the former vice president from Ogun State, what's the name? Former Vice to Buhari.
Oshibajo.
President Oshibajo from Ogun State, Fashola was his lawyer, brought them. And look at how he was able to move Lagos forward. He built the nation and then built those individuals. And those individuals rose to become, so that's governance, But if we begin to play the government of my people, from my party, from my race, then we're not going to go forward. What it means is that if there are other people more qualified to do the job, but they are not part of your party or they are not part of your people, then we will leave them. Then we're not going to move Nigeria forward because Nigeria should be one. So I believe the agitation is more political. Maybe they felt that they're used to being in charge. Maybe they felt that 8 years is too long. But they were there at the meeting, headed by Buhari, when they said they are zoning the presidency another 8 years to the south.
Now, another leader's being totally honest with the northern people.
Yeah.
Are they being totally honest with them?
I don't think they are being totally honest. And it's so easy to brainwash the northerners. Education is light. Education is freedom.
And what role is education, ethnicity, and religion playing in all of this?
Like I'm saying, education is light. Education is freedom. Education does not just teach you how to read and write. But education frees your mind, ability to think on your own. All right. When you are not literate, you can be brainwashed.
Easily swayed.
It's so easy. You know, in those days when the Westerners, the whites, when they come to Africa, you know, and they said, if you want to keep anything, you know, from African, put it inside the book. Gone are those days. But it's still happening in the north. Look at all these terrorist activities going on. People, you know, taking their lives because of religious brainwash. That who would do that in the south?
But President Bello Jonathan, during his regime, brought about nomadic education.
Yes,
it failed. Why?
Yes, because they are not so interested, and their leaders are happy, you know, keeping them. I mean, the illiterate ones, keeping them that way. You know, I've been to the north and I've seen this system. You know, when one person is well-to-do in the family or in the society, you know, others are ready to come around and say rankadede every morning and get and get little things from, and he's happy. The rich man is happy giving them, you know. But instead of giving them fish, why don't you teach them to fish? They are not doing that. So their leaders are not being fair on the people. But a time is coming that the people will understand. We've been seeing sparks of, you know, sparks like this from their youths. I was listening to a program, and one Fulani person, you know, was talking with this former Senator Sonny. I've forgotten his name.
Is Uba Sonny?
No, Uba Sonny.
Okay, former senator from Kaduna State.
Yes, you know. So
Shehu Sani.
Shehu Sani, and he was saying that enough is enough. You know, we have to move the Fulanis, especially. We have to move us forward. It's gone are the days of Othman Dafidio that you have to fight to get everything. You know, but the southwest, the southeast, there is no education, there is civilization. You know, now we are carrying AK-47. And I was like, oh, this is great. And Sonny told them, go, I will finance you. Go to every local government and be teaching the youths this. That this is my heartbeat. So the northern leaders are not being fair to the people, all right? But people like these young people are getting to know that these people are just oppressing us. Look at the calibers of leaders that you have in the north. It's the same set of people from the 60s to this stage. Just take statistics and look at the leader. This is a set of people. They are not giving chance to the, you know, new ones because they want to keep them in abject poverty. They just give them stipends.
Is the Almajiri system a ticking time bomb in Nigeria? It
is. It is. You know, when Obafemi Awolowo was asked, you know, in the 60s, they said you are developing the South. You are giving Southwest, you are giving free education. All right. It was a white man that was intervening. And he said in the north, it's the Almajiri system. The leaders are getting the money and they are not using it to train. And he said it's a big concern. That's the word of Obafemi Awolowo. It's a big concern to Nigeria, not just the Southwest. It's a big concern because a child that you do not train will eventually trouble the child that
you have successfully trained.
And that is what is happening. And he said he beckoned on to his, you know, contemporaries from the north. He said, give them education because education is life. But they are not doing that.
All right. Lastly, before we go, looking at the body language of the president ahead of 2027, is it safe to say he's already preparing that the north might not fully support him?
Not that. What is happening now is like a division in the north. All right? Some really appreciate what the president is doing. All right? They really appreciate what the president is doing. And some like this are like, no, we're not going to, you know, give you the second chance. And the president knows. That is why he set up a committee immediately after this meeting that look into the yearning, the agitation, and let's see what we can do, you know, to
That was the tension.
And that was the tension.
Of course,
like
sort
I
them
said,
out.
we have made our fathers, our forefathers have made the mistake. 19 states from the north, 6, 5, from others. There is no way you can rise to become a president, all right, if you don't play the music of the north. There is no way, there is no way. And that's why it seems that most of the time, we feel sometimes that, President Tinubu does more to the northern than here. President Obasanjo did more.
Same.
He did the same. Go to Ogun State, you will never believe that, Abeokuta, that this is the state where the former
president
8 years came from, and go to north. They started roads, perfect. I've driven it now. I was like, wow, if you can have a replica of this in the south, we will move forward. Because they know that there's no way they can get to that office if they don't play their music. It's a mistake that has been made.
All right, Dr. Kunle Okola, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
It's really a deep conversation, and of course, we cannot finish that today.
No, we can't.
I hope that next time we'll be able to exemplify more and talk more about this.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And that's where we'll leave it on the big story today. A sincere thank you to Dr. Kunle Okola for his in-depth perspective on a conversation that challenges us all to look beyond sentiment and examine the real forces shaping our national unity. Remember, the journey to a more inclusive Nigeria requires truth, empathy, and a collective will to engage, not just to react. Join us again tomorrow on Daybreak Live, where we go beyond headlines and ask the tough questions that matter. I am your host, Samson Balogun. Stay informed, stay engaged, and as always, stay thinking. Bye for now.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Of course, now we go straight to Trend Watch, where we bring you trends on social media and things that people are saying. And of course, I'm sure you have enjoyed the show so far. Keep it locked on this dial. And of course, follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast. And on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Yemi Adelako, good to have you back.
I'm glad to be back here. Well done.
All right, there's something really interesting we want to talk about today. There was a trending video of a police officer and an environmental enforcement agency official, a lady actually.
Okay.
They were having issues as regards what happens at a Chinese restaurant,
Okay.
where they said their mode of operation there was unhygienic, and then they were there to actually lock that place up. But the police officer that was assigned to the Chinese owner, to the owner of the restaurant, was also arguing, saying, look, I protect this person. You cannot lock this place. And it was seen that the police officer was actually dragging, the hygiene enforcement agent. I was like, aren't you, you know, Nigerians together? And of course, you work for different law enforcement agencies, but you are still doing that in the interest of Nigeria. So why must we get there?
I think that could have been sorted, I mean, without the whole violence and the likes, because online is not looking good. Nigerians are saying, why are these, you know, individuals fighting over a matter that is not really serious? Because, I mean, they could have sorted that out. And of course, I mean, I think the policemen, if they are maybe more than one, they could have actually, you know, found a way to resolve the issue and find out, I mean, what they are doing wrong, and then look for ways to actually make sure that, I mean, they do better, rather than saying, okay, you cannot seal up this place, and then it resulted into a fist. Was it a fisticuff? I mean, they threw blows.
It was really something, you know, it shouldn't happen. It's an aberration, and I think there should be synergy between parastatals, agencies, MDAs, regardless of who you work for, where you work. At least you know that all this is being done in the interest of the greater good of Nigeria, and that, you know, there should be a level playing field. You know, communication is key.
Definitely.
And I want to believe that that was not the first time the hygiene agency was actually going there. That must have been probably the second or third. There must have been a letter sent there, and of course there must be a notification that they will be coming to seal that place if some things are not put in place.
Definitely.
So if they are now there, when the police officer says, no, look, because I'm here, you cannot lock this place, I think that should not be the case. You know, every agency, every parastatal, MDA, they have what they do. And in line of duty, there are things that happen. But of course, if you are there as a police officer, that does not mean you should stop someone else from carrying out their responsibility. I think the clash of interest there should really be corrected. For police officers who have been assigned to, you know, guide a personality or the other, the orientation should be Nigeria first, regardless of who you have been sent to protect. So it's not like they have come there to actually assault the owner of the restaurant. What they are saying is your business is not, you know, being operated under strict rules of hygiene. So if that is the case, we are going to lock this place until you put some things in place. And the police officer, for me, do not have the right to say you cannot do your job because you are from a different agency.
Okay, speaking of, I think this is not the first time that this will happen, though not with, you know, police officers. In some market in Ibadan, I've witnessed, you know, cases whereby the market, you know, people, you know, fight dirty, I mean, with, I mean, environmental officials, because, I mean, they want to seal the place up. Oh, you didn't clean, you didn't sweep, you didn't do this and that. But when we have these issues, I mean, between police officers and then, you know, the environmental officials, so it's very bad. I mean, we can understand when it's coming from the market people and, of course, the officials, but when policemen cannot make, you know, peace, you know, in such matters, it's serious. I think about last year, a Chinese supermarket was sealed up in Abuja, basically because, you know, it was said that some Nigerians were not allowed to actually buy, you know, things from the market. So I think the man had to, you know, flee from the country for a while because, you know, it was really serious. So I mean, we have a lot of Chinese supermarket and restaurants across Nigeria, and of course that should not cause any problem, because most of them will say, okay, we are trying to help the economy, and if you like. But I just feel like this is not too good. I mean, they are trying to walk, you're also trying to walk. I mean, have a discussion. I don't know why people don't, you know, give a shot at diplomacy before they try to go for other vices. I mean, you can talk things out. You guys are Nigerians. Not if they were Chinese, you know, men now, it would have been different. Okay, maybe you don't understand that language. You all are Nigerians. You can talk about it. Diplomacy, you know, should be the first thing. And before we start to say, okay, we want to engage in fisticuff and beat each other up. So I think it's not a good one. So
also, to buttress your point, that's the best way to go about it is to engage, you know, have a decent conversation over it and see how both your roles can be carried out without you know, trampling upon someone else's responsibility. I think that will be fine. But then there used to be a time when environmental officials were given so much respect. You know, when you see them coming, you already know, oh, this also person is in trouble. Even by seeing them, you have started, you know, cleaning your environment, because you don't want them to meet you in a place where you have to start begging, or you are being fined, or you are being arrested. There used to be a time that they will be taken to the local council.
Yes,
but
and
then,
you might not even get access to your shop or your restaurant for days or weeks, because, I mean, they will set it up and then you have to go through some processes, take some forms, write some, you know, letters and the likes. But things are changing. And then Nigerians, I don't know, a lot of Nigerians are angry about a lot of things things, and then they just want to defend themselves,
At
even
all
without the policemen. That's why I said, because the policemen were there, it should have been better. It should not have resorted into that that sin.
And I feel going forward, there should be more respect attached to their responsibility.
Definitely.
Probably when going for duties like that, police officers, NSCDC officials should be attached to the team, so that at least the presence of a law enforcement agent, amidst them, will actually get them gain some respect from people they are going there to meet. At least that will make their job a little bit easy.
Definitely.
And that will be a convenient point to draw the curtains of today's edition of our Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. We say a very big thank you to everyone that has been a part of the show so far. And of course, join us again tomorrow for another interesting edition of Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television. Samson Balogun is my name. Bye for now.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show. Please do well to join us tomorrow same time, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And of course, we promise to bring you more interesting stories ranging from politics, entertainment, and the likes. My name is Oluwayemi Adelauk, and I'm saying good morning.